You know that feeling when someone treats you like you're invisible? Yeah, it sucks. But at least there are others who actually notice you, so you deal with it. But what if the whole world treated you like you didn't exist? Now that's a different level of frustration. It's not just about your feelings anymore, it makes you question your very existence. The same thing happens with countries. Even if a new country forms, without recognition from other nations, it's like they're stuck in limbo. They might have land, people, and even a government, but on the global stage, their existence is still up for debate. These places, which you won't even find on Google Maps, are called unauthorized countries. Why? Because they don't get the stamp of approval from the UN or any major countries, and that's basically what makes a state part of the international club. It's a weird paradox, right? They clearly exist, but officially, they don't. Today, let's dive into the first country in this series, Transnistria in Moldova. It's an unauthorized country with some serious Soviet nostalgia and potential geopolitical drama brewing in Eastern Europe. As you can guess from the name, Transnistria is closely tied to Moldova, a country in Europe that's actually better known for its wine. Back in the Soviet days, Moldova was part of the USSR. But when the Soviet Union started breaking up, some Russian and Ukrainian folks in Moldova, led by a guy named Igor Smirnov, who ended up becoming Transnistria's first president, didn't want Moldova getting absorbed into Romania, which shares similar racial and language roots. So, on September 2nd, 1990, they declared independence. They called their new territory Transnistria, which means beyond the Dniester River, in Moldova's east, a place that's long been home to Russian and Ukrainian communities. Once they declared independence, separatist forces in key Russian-speaking cities like Tiraspol, Bender, and Ribnita started making moves to take control of this narrow strip of land between Dniester River and the Ukrainian border. Things heated up fast. By November 1990, the tensions turned into full-on fighting, kicking off a civil war that dragged on for about 2 years until a ceasefire in July 1992. With Romania backing Moldova and Russia backing the separatists, the war claimed thousands of lives. In the end, Russia-backed Transnistria came out on top. As a result, Moldova lost control of the area, and Transnistria became a de facto independent state, with its own land, people, and functioning government. They've been running things themselves ever since. Transnistria is tiny, with a population of about 500,000, but it's been a hot topic in international politics, especially in Europe. Since Russia annexed Crimea in 2014 and the whole Donbas situation started heating up, rumors have been flying that Moldova and Transnistria could be the next targets for Putin's military, especially since Russia's been at war with Ukraine since 2022. So yeah, it's not far-fetched to worry that Moldova and Transnistria could end up in the middle of a second Ukraine-style crisis. When you look at the ethnic makeup, the political and economic situations in Transnistria, and the current international climate, it bears a striking resemblance to Russia's invasion of Ukraine, which began with the annexation of Crimea. Like Crimea and Donbas, Transnistria was thrown together in the chaos following the fall of the Soviet Union without much thought for ethnic or historical unity. These areas all have a big Russian-speaking population, so of course they lean toward pro-Russian politics. Russia, seen by many there as the motherland, hasn't hesitated to offer economic and political support directly or indirectly. For example, Crimea relies on Russian tourists for its Black Sea resorts, and Transnistria, cut off from the global economy because no one recognizes it, also depends on Russia's financial backing. In this kind of setup, it's no wonder people in these regions might prefer being part of Russia. This idea also gives Russia a reason to step in, claiming they need to protect their ethnic kin abroad. Meanwhile, Ukraine's pushing to join NATO, and Moldova's eyeing the EU, which really ticks off Russia. If these countries align with the West, Crimea, Donbass, and Transnistria will be surrounded by pro-Western forces. Amidst all this tension, Ukraine has closed its border with Transnistria, which is seen as a possible ally of Russia, and Moldova's been squeezing them economically with customs checks. All of this just makes Transnistria lean even harder toward joining Russia, which in turn strengthens Russia's argument for stepping in with military force. Whether by intention or circumstance, it seems pretty likely that Transnistria could follow in Crimea and Donbass's footsteps when it comes to Ukraine. If the Ukraine-Russia war ends in Russia's favor, especially before Ukraine can join NATO or the EU, there is a good chance Russia will aim to absorb Moldova after securing Transnistria. And even if things go badly for Russia, the economic discrimination Moldova has placed on Transnistria during this whole situation will likely lead to some kind of backlash. After the war, Crimea and Donbass became autonomous republics within Russia, breaking away from Ukraine and being renamed as the Republic of Crimea, Donetsk People's Republic, and Luhansk People's Republic. So what's in the cards for Transnistria? Will it become part of Russia, stay unauthorized, or somehow get official status under some unique circumstances? Only time will tell. That's it for today's look at Transnistria, our first stop in this series on unauthorized countries. It's a pretty interesting place with lots of hidden quirks. There's not a ton of info available because of its status. If you know anything else, please drop a comment. Up next in our Unauthorized Country Series, we'll be talking about Somaliland. So if you're interested, please subscribe and stay tuned for the next series.